Hello, everyone. This is another Freedom to Feel conversation, and my guest today is the lovely Haley Carbajal. She's a Starseed coach and mentor. She's also the creator of 5 Steps to Alignment, which is a program that helps the spiritually awakened overcome fear, stagnation, the lack of direction in their soul's journey to become vibrationally aligned with their soul's mission and purpose. The full bio will be at the end of this video. But a question that I love asking my guests, and you probably have seen this before, I've asked everyone, for some reason it never left me, is if you were to describe who you are in this very moment, what would you say, Haley?
Who am I in this very moment? Um, I would say cosmic consciousness.
Yeah.
I I believe in the multidimensional world, and not it doesn't have to be like this huge extraterrestrial thing. Although it can, that's, what the way
Yes.
I relate to it, but we are multidimensional ourselves, right? We're multidimensional in our emotions, we're multidimensional in the experience of ourselves, we're multidimensional to others, and we different people bring different parts of us out.
Right.
And so who I am right now is really just embodying the mission of, like, similar to you, about connecting to the emotions of and what that translates for us and
Yeah.
what those emotions are speaking and telling us so that we can continue to upgrade, level up, and become more of who we are.
I have a friend who tried something different. She went to this, I think they called exorcism, spirit attachment type of thing, spirit attachment removal. And the first thing was a checkup. They wanted to see if she had something. And they confirmed and they said, yes, you have an attachment. And then the problem is that they never gave her any information, further information, and what kind of spirit, how long they had been there, all those things. So she just stopped the whole thing because she's kind of scientific with her mind and she couldn't really believe any of that. But something that they mentioned to her was emotions. That's the reason why they said these light bodies or people who have passed, they what is left of them are emotions. And that kind of, I never heard it that way. So, and you just mentioned connection, navigating this reality, connecting with others and trying to feel what it's like, to connect as a concept. So why emotions? I thought that was something that it could only be expressed in the human form, but it seems like it's not. It could be out there too. What is your view on that?
Hmm. So the way that so I think it depends on the level of consciousness, so dimensions, a lot of people believe that dimensions are places, and while part of that is true, dimensions
Yes.
are also levels of consciousness that we experience in this reality, right? And so based on the level of consciousness that you are at and the understanding of self that you have varies on what types of emotions are experienced, right? So
Yeah.
when I'm connecting or doing any type of channeling or any type of healing for somebody, I always connect to the purest sources of light and consciousness, because not only is that where where I'm divinely protected, that's also where highest truth comes from, and I care about that. I don't want to just be delivering information. I want to be delivering highest truth. Um,
Right.
but when it comes to the emotion, so our emotions can be leverage I think our emotions can only be always be leveraged to our benefit, because the
Yeah.
high vibrational emotions of passion, joy, excitement, peace center us more with the natural self and who we are. And then the denser emotions like anger, frustration, rage, sorrow, grief are all emotions that are telling us something that
Yeah.
we're butting up against a limiting belief, that we're butting up against something that is not of the natural self. So I believe that the more that you play within your emotions and ascend in your consciousness, and then therefore ascend in the dimensions, you have a more balanced, neutral space for emotions. But that's because you're educated, you're self-educated in how to navigate them.
The question that came to mind as soon as you said, I connect with the highest truth, like that kind of source. So you have the purest kind of information. So what truth have you found, Haley? What kinds of highest truth per se?
That's a really great question. So, highest truth, so some of the things of highest truth is that all existence is valid. So, like,
Yeah.
I really don't judge another because I understand. It's like I can hear somebody and hear their story and fully understand why they perceive it that way, and it doesn't make them wrong to perceive it that way. So that all perceptions, all life is valid. Another thing is that, the
Yeah.
nothing that and this, I don't mean to sound harsh when I say this, but nothing that we really care about matters to the degree that we care about it. It is only us that and it's the process of letting go of the shackles, right? Like, we're here to learn how to let go of the shackles, but
Yes.
none of the stuff that we really care about matters or has as much substance as we perceive it to be. Another highest truth is that you are unconditionally
Mm,
loved no matter
mm,
what. And I don't mean to sound, cheesy, because a lot of people hear that and they roll their eyes, but another way to perceive that is that you are unconditionally supported no matter what. That you are so supported by the universe, you are allowed to believe that you are not being supported, right? So
yeah.
it's this, all life is valid, everything is divine as it is, everything is perfect as it is, that nothing that you really concern yourself about matters as much as you think it does. And yeah, that would be some highest truths that I've come into awareness with.
Yeah, and that very much resonates with me, everything that you just said. Yes. One of the things that it's interesting to observe is that I do have this, let's say, I would say at this point, realization that everything is existence itself. I might use different words, but it's the same thing. Like you said, everything matters. And because I see everything as divine. So that's very clear to me. But then we have this mind it keeps doubting that realization, that truth. So, what do you suggest we do in this case of in those moments of doubt, of fear?
Yes. Oh, yes. I experience doubt regularly. But see, the thing is that a lot of people who are kind of just embarking on this work think that, oh, I'll get to a point where I never think a negative thought again, or I'll live a
Right,
life where I
right. Yeah.
never have doubt again. And the truth is that those will always be around. It's just how much do you engage in that conversation with
Mhm.
yourself. So, what I like to say about doubt, and this is not mine, this comes from Bashar, but he explains that you don't have to learn how to trust because you already intrinsically trust in something. So even in doubt, you are just trusting. Your trust is applied in the thing that you don't prefer to happen, or your trust is applied
Yeah.
in something that you're scared of, more than the trust being applied to what it is that you do want, to what it is that you are working towards. So if you just have that level of comprehension and understanding that I'm trusting in something anyway, what is it that I prefer to trust in that's going to get me the result or outcome or vibratory state that I prefer to be in? Then that kind of shifts the dynamic. And then also, again, doubt
Yeah.
coming up as a gift because it's your energy being filtered through a limiting belief that is coming up because you're ascending. And therefore, this belief cannot come with you. So again, even when the doubt comes up, it's still a gift. It doesn't mean you're out of alignment at all. Doesn't mean you're out of alignment at all. It means you're actually exactly in alignment, because this limiting belief would not be coming to the conscious mind to be released if you weren't on the right path.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. I have heard that from somebody that everything in this human experience is a practice, a spiritual practice. So you probably have heard that way too as a school. So everything, it's a transformation process, it's a ascending process. So what was that moment that you just realized that this was a path for you, that this is what this was your soul's mission and purpose, as you say?
I'm not sure if there was this specific moment. The way that I have accumulated the information that I had or have is I was started off as a massage therapist.
Right.
And so I spent a lot of time, and I had a theta, the energy healing modality, the theta healing background. And that's all about connecting to creator's light. And so being in a dark room with meditation music, shifting energy on a body and being connected to that light, that is how I received most of my intelligence, my spiritual intelligence, cosmic intelligence. Um,
Yeah.
I really think that those who have had a checkered past, both in a tough family dynamic and then checkered decisions in their past, kind of it does handcraft you to, if you allow it, because that's a whole different conversation, but it crafts
Ah,
you to be who you are right now. And so, I've made really bad decisions. Um, I used to drink and consume a lot of alcohol. I used to smoke marijuana all the time. Could not go throughout the day without be having that substance within me. Was with the wrong person because I came from an abusive household and I just wanted to get out of the household.
yeah.
So I just latched on to whoever I could move into with. And that was in a trailer with no running water or heat. It was like a trailer that you hitch on the back of a truck. It wasn't even like an RV thing, it was just a trailer. And through those experiences, I feel, and I think massage therapy was the thing that, even though I was doing all of those things, massage therapy and having that
Mm,
time set aside and quiet and self introspection and connection to the divine, that is what kind of anchored in who I am now. Because obviously, I'm completely sober, don't drink, don't smoke, or any of those things. I'm in a super healthy, loving relationship with a strong, nurturing man, which is like what every woman wants, right?
right.
And I'm out there living my purpose, living my mission, and like passionate about it, right? So, um, I think the a lot of people get hung up on their checkered past and their past decisions and how they messed up or made mistakes, and nobody's impervious to that. We've all done that. It's just, how are you going to use that to empower you rather than
Mm,
destroy you, essentially.
yes. So why do some of us get stuck and stay there, and some other people like you move on in a beautiful way, an empowering way, inspiring way? What makes us different in that sense?
I think there's one distinction between one and the other, and I think it's how much we indulge in a victim mentality. Because there is environments, right? There are environments. Me and my siblings all came from the same environment, but we are all three different people,
Yeah.
right? I think the deciding factor is a victim mentality. It is either I'm going to blame all of this for the reason that the way that I am, or I'm going to take responsibility for, even though I didn't, it's like, did we choose this? Did we not choose this? That's,
Right.
but
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
way, you're going to say, okay, well, I got this handed to me. And so I can't help the cards I was dealt, but I can use the hand to make a good play, right? And so I think it's just that victim mentality, whether you're going to take ownership and you're going to be like, I'm going to change my life no matter what,
Mm,
or you're going to allow the external circumstances to influence you.
right. Who is making that choice is not really clear why some of us do choose. So I know you mentioned already this idea that the concept that we choose our path before coming to Earth,
Mhm.
what we want to go through in order to learn. I have heard that before. Of course, I hold no belief systems, so it's really hard to believe in anything. So I don't believe anything, but I just kind of hold on to experience. Okay, what's happening here? I want to be. I'm just present to what is present. Even fear when it arises. Oh, okay, this is interesting. How would you describe that? What is like to manifest divine truth to become embody more of that?
That's a beautiful question. So I think that your divinity lies in your authenticity, and not just the
Mm,
authenticity that you share with the world, but having those authentic, honest conversations with yourself. I think that's like step number one
yeah.
in discovering your divinity or being connected to divinity.
I have a lot of people around me, and they seem to be honest in the sense of they know what they know, but I can see things in them that they cannot see in themselves. It's very clear to me in their behavior, their thinking patterns. So when it comes to this authenticity that you speak of, it actually it goes for everything, even not knowing, even being honest about being ignorant of their own selves.
Yeah. So, um, other people in other psychologies, I love that topic. It's a whole nother topic. But there's things that we don't know that we don't know, right? And
Mm,
for those who
yeah,
either your healing work or the things that you're presented with make you more unconscious, you choose to be more unconscious, or you it makes you more conscious and you become more conscious, more aware. You're more in that detective state, but not from a space of like force, but just investigating curiously.
yeah. This idea of being honest and being authentic, does it go for anything when it comes to divinity? Is that we are still honoring divinity when we are authentic but not true to ourselves per se? We are still hurting ourselves, but we can't help but stay there and go through what we are going through. Is that something that you would say that's also a form of authenticity that leads to that realization that we are divine, or there are levels to that game?
Well, the so going back to what you don't know what you don't know. So,
Right,
and
right.
really the true definition of a habit is doing something that you're not aware that you're doing. And so everything after that really is a choice. It's a choice to make it a habit. Now, how quickly
Right.
or not quickly we shift through that is on us, but we have to be honest with ourselves and be like, I'm not moving through this right now, or I'm choosing not to move through this right now. Why? What is there? The antidote to every spiraling thought is questions, right?
Yes.
Asking, but not, you have to be very intelligent with your questions, because whatever you ask yourself, your mind is going to go find that answer. So if you say, why is this happening to me? Or why is everybody around me living so unconsciously?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
going to find that answer. But if you ask yourself, what parts of them are still, how much have they moved through already? Or why is this happening for me? Or what is the higher lesson in this? Your brain will find that answer too. Now, I
yeah,
think that there's a difference with individuals where it's like it's so easy for us to see their patterns and their behaviors and how their decisions or lack thereof is affecting their reality. And then we just have to remind ourselves that every version of a person that we see is a reflection of us. because we cannot perceive that which we are not the vibration of. And so even with my amazing,
Wow.
amazing spouse, right? Sometimes it's not like no relationship is absolutely perfect, right? So anytime that I'm getting triggered by him, the first thing I do is I go within and I ask myself, what is he showing me about myself? Because it's not him. He's still being him. He's still, and it goes for my
Right.
children too. It's not them. What is it? There's it's not that they're pushing a button. It's about the fact that I have a button that they can push, and it's showing me where I'm not free, which is a part of the whole alchemy, learning, energy. This is a school, energy school, learning how to manipulate energy, learning how to understand ourselves, because then, like,
Right.
I think it's I forget if it was Buddha or some monks said something to the effect of, somebody asked, "What did you gain in meditation?" And the monk or the person answering said, "Well, can't tell you what I gained, but I can tell you everything that I lost." Which is
Mm,
those
yeah.
buttons, those triggers, those self-judgments, those all of those things. So I hope that I answered the question.
Oh my God. And more. You answered that question and you went beyond that. Yes. Yeah. What a fascinating experience, right, Haley? Because, yeah, we do look at the world, collectively where it is now. And I can't believe I have something to do with that. It's just really hard to believe, you
Mhm,
see, as a belief system.
mhm.
But, but we do have something to do with that. That that is just true. It resonates true as well. Yeah, because you can't really see or perceive anything without those lens. So you have to have some sort of lens, to be able to see.
Do our best. I know I do my best to be objective in all areas. But the thing
Yeah,
is, the whole point of this is that it's supposed to be a subjective experience, right?
yeah,
And so it's good to practice that paradox, understand that paradox of being completely objective
yeah.
and then knowing, completely subjective, and finding that balance point in the middle where both
Right.
polar opposites meet in harmony, and that's when you know that you're in alignment, because you're balancing two different ends of a spectrum.
Mm. And would you say that once you're there, yeah, now we're speaking about the 5 steps to alignment, right? This is what your program is all about. So when we are in that middle that you speak of, is that we are able to see the extremes and be okay with them? Is that what a peace per se?
Yeah, exactly. Just having acceptance for them, being able to see it from
Yeah,
all angles and know that all angle you can understand all angles. Doesn't mean all angles are, highest and best or correct or whatever have you,
right.
but you can be at peace with it. I think you said it eloquently.
Yes, yeah, it came to me that as an insight, yeah, long ago, that peace concept again. So, the 5 steps to alignment. I noticed that you have so do you meet people one on one? Do you also I know you do groups, you workshops. I mean, you do all kinds of you've been doing a lot of work out there. That's amazing. And you do have a Patreon membership account,
Mhm.
which I'll have the link here too. So, talk to me a bit more about the 5 steps to alignment. Is that for everyone, or do you somehow this is for people who already feel in alignment with what you do and the things that you speak of?
Yeah. So, the Five Steps to Alignment program is actually something that I'm upgrading, so to
Yeah,
say, um, upgrading it to help more people. This is for those who know that. See, because we're never truly out of alignment, we can't steer off the
right.
path because we are the path. But those are for people who know that there's a path before them that they don't know how to assimilate to, or they don't feel or perceive that they're in alignment with it. It's,
Yeah.
overcoming that fear and that stagnation or lack of direction, so that you can see that you already are walking the path. It's just, how do you get there with the least amount of suffering, with the least amount of confusion, and with the most amount of certainty, empowerment, and ease, right?
Yes. So it's clear to me that there's no center here. I mean, the more I even reflect about it, contemplate the idea just now in this moment, because I do that every day, all the time, it just still fascinates me that, yeah, it's just incredible how we already it, but we just get attracted, I guess, to the experience and the movements and the chains, and we just believe that we are it, and then we just go with the suffering or with the pain and forget what we are.
Mhm.
Is that how you see it too? This idea of already being in alignment? If you could elaborate a bit more.
Yeah. Well, so these challenges that we experience are actually handcrafting us for that future version of ourselves if that's the path we're choosing, right?
Yeah.
So no matter what, you even if you're not choosing the highest and best path, you're still in alignment with walking the path because it's up to you how much resistance or non-resistance you give it. You have a destiny and it doesn't matter if you fulfill it or not because there's always more time. There's because we're infinite beings, right? So the lesson will get learned some way, some way, sometime, some way. But
Yeah.
the aspect I'd really love to speak to the suffering because any mental, emotional, and physical pain is actually resisting the natural self, right? It's not change that's painful. It is holding on that makes change painful. And so it's normal for us to go through a level of suffering, right? Because it is part of the dynamic of this 3D reality.
Right.
But suffering comes from not surrendering to the path. And surrender doesn't mean giving up. Surrender means that you are letting things be as they are, knowing that you don't have control, so to say. You have control over your response and your perspective of what you're going through, but you don't have control. And when we are
Hmm.
feeling that suffering, it means that we're trying to control the situation or we're trying to pre-calculate or understand the situation when sometimes we just need to let things be as they are because then as we let go of the reins we can bring in that divine path. So whenever I'm in suffering, I ask myself, what is the natural self trying to tell me? And usually it just is to let go, trust. It is working out. You know, the working with the higher self is a whole nother conversation. But I don't believe I believe that you're only operating as half a person if you're not communicating with the higher mind, with the higher self.
Ah, wow. When it comes to control, so what are we in control of? Even if we are speaking of the body mind itself, doing this work of believing that it can control, the destiny, the path of the body mind, of the body and the mind. Yeah, because we do try, as you can see, most of us try to control that,
Mhm.
being healthy by having all these supplements, going to bed early, all these things that we do. It's pretty obvious that we're afraid to die, and then the body's afraid to die, and then you have the mind, the mind trying to control itself, medicating itself with distractions, all kinds of things. So what are we really in control of when it comes to the complex of body mind, Haley?
We are in control of our response to things,
Yeah.
how we define things as they're coming up, and our perception of them. So really ultimately what is the motive for you to be falling asleep earlier? What is the motive for you to be taking vitamins? You know, is that something that's authentically you and you love taking care of you and that
Yeah.
you can feel a physical difference when you're better, or is it more a fear-based proactive thing? Because it see the thing is that all of these tools, all of these practices, spiritual or not, because you could even just say taking vitamins is not even a spiritual practice. Anybody takes vitamins, right?
Right,
It
right.
does not matter. It does not matter the tool that you use. It is who you are being while you use it. That's why even people who eat healthy, such as vegetarians, can still come across some illnesses or diseases because there's emotional blockage in there. It's not the food, but then there are people who
Right.
are vegetarians and are completely healthy. So there's people who use affirmations and affirmations work amazing for them. And then there's others who use affirmations and it doesn't work because it's not about the tool. It's not about the vitamin. It's not about even the makeup, right? Like it helps us. We don't need it,
Yeah.
but it helps us to have an expression of more of who we are. But really, all of these tools and things are just permission slips that allow us to connect to more of who we are.
Yes. In the sense of expression, would you add that? Just expressing itself. It's not manifestation because we are already the manifestation of that, of the infinite,
Mhm.
but as an expression. I like that, the idea that we can express ourselves in a more graceful way. We can use the word, the concept of beauty, the concept of calm. I love that too. Some people, they come across very calm. So all these things, but in the end, you're right. It's about the inner work again. It's going deeper within to know what we are, and the connection we have with that, the body mind, in a sense of training, because it seems like it takes a lot of training, and that's what your work, it's all about. Training of body mind. That's not well, that's a life. That's for the rest of our lives. So, gosh, what else to ask you? I have so many other questions here. Yeah, there's something that we're almost at the end. You talked about, so how to you use the word win. So win basically means what you have been saying is to surrender to our divinity. It's not even knowing that, it's becoming that, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. That you so if you want to learn more, I think Bashar, Bashar talks about that really, really well. I would explore Bashar's work for
Yeah,
sure.
I will.
But when you so he has this five-step formula and one of the steps is following your highest excitement. And the reason for that is because your highest excitement it are the essentially the breadcrumbs of the blueprint of your life.
Right.
So when you're following that highest excitement, those are the synchronicities that are both the driving engine of your reality and the organizing principle of your reality. So when you're following that highest excitement, you are becoming and embodying more of yourself, and then the last step, number
Yeah.
5, is that it constantly investigate your limiting beliefs and let go of the ones that you don't prefer, that are not natural to you. Because as you're going through following your highest excitement, you're going to bud up against those limiting parts of yourself that tell you you can't, or tell you that your highest excitement can't support you, or that your highest excitement is this, that, and the other thing. And the
Right.
purpose of that is because really all of this spiritual journey, or call it personal development, whichever, right? The whole point of spirituality and personal development is simply releasing all that you are not.
Yeah.
That's it. So this is just a journey of uncovering more of who you really are, and following your highest excitement is the best way to do that.
Yeah. So would you say that's almost like a dance between those two, following, what your heart wants and then being able to let go as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, the power of paradox, right? It's this the paradox of action and taking action and doing the things, and then also of letting go, right? We don't want to be too
Right.
much in action because then we're not in flow, and then if we're too much in flow, it's almost careless, right? So we want to find that harmonic point between the two.
Right.
That's where your power is. That's where your true embodiment and alignment is, when you're balancing that silver lining between two extremes. And also the
Yeah.
detachment allows to receive more, right? Detachment allows you to be a clearer channel. Detachment allows you to be more connected to things.
Yeah. So thank you for having this perfume of wisdom, of timeless wisdom, of divinity to you. Thank you for bringing this to this reality. That's the manifestation that I'm most interested in. So thank you so much for being you, Haley. Thank you.
Thank you, Valeria.
Before we say goodbye, I want to ask you just a question about freedom. I want to mention also, yeah, again, the Patreon membership page. The link is here, patreon.com, Haley Carbajal /membership, but I'll have the clickable, it will be easier for you to just click on it. And then your Instagram page and also the 5steps to alignment.com. And you also have a website that's the same, haleycarbajal.com. So they're one and the same.
Mhm.
Interestingly, everything's one and the same. And then I want to mention that one of the things that caught my attention immediately on your another thing, one of the things was something that you post about the illusion of this world. It says it's not the end of the world; it is the end of illusion. That just I put hearts kind of around that. I put hearts around things that really has resonates with my heart. So thank you for sharing that too. That caught my attention. And then before we say goodbye, would you add anything? Would you like to say anything that you left unsaid? That it's still a calling to be here?
Going back to the surrender, surrendering is not giving up. Surrender is surrendering to the control that is already built in within your reality, within your blueprint. So when we come here from spirit, we start off as vapor, we solidify into water, and then we crystallize into, we're frozen, we become a crystallized structure, right? And that
Mm,
crystallized structure is not only the blueprint of our personality, but it is also the blueprint of the themes that we chose to experience in this reality for our soul growth, for all of these
yeah.
things. Come up, you can may come up with your own reasons, but ultimately don't try to figure so many things out, because the physical mind is not meant to, is not designed actually to figure out everything and how it's going to happen and when it's going to happen. That's the higher self's job.
Right.
What the physical mind is only meant to do is to process what has happened or what is happening. So when you can fully embody that knowing, you can surrender it up to the higher self, knowing that there's already a blueprint in place. There's already control built in place for you. And the way that you follow that is through your highest excitement
Mm,
and giving everything to do the best that you can with the inspired action that you are given, but then surrender it up to creation, to the higher self to take care of on your behalf.
yes, beautiful. It felt like a guided meditation. It really does. It really does. I love the way you express these things too, so clearly. It's so clear to me. Thank you for that expression too. The verbal expression of this wisdom. And the last question is about freedom. There's a reason why I titled this platform The Freedom to Feel. So, what comes to mind when you think about freedom?
Expansion and expression.
Yeah. Ah. Yes, yes, yes. Why not? I often think about love, but it's all the same,
Mhm.
isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, it's all the same. Thank you so much again, Haley, for saying yes to this, to meeting me today, and for being open to all of it, not just parts of life, but the wholeness of
Mhm.
life. Thank you so much again, and we'll talk soon. Take good care of yourself.
Thank you for
Bye.
having me.
Thank you.